Welcome to the leading podcast for long-term weight management. Subscribe to the podcast so that you don't miss an episode. You can connect with Jenny on all social media channels. You can also sign up to the newsletter to receive frequent content and tips for weight loss success.
Hey guys, welcome to the latest episode of Power Over Food. I hope you've had a wonderful Christmas. I know it may have been a little bit quieter than normal, but I hope you still had a great relaxing time. So before I get started, just a reminder, if you haven't listened from the start, from episode 1, please do go back and listen. Each episode is packed with lots of thoughts, insights, information to help you with your weight loss journey. And if you are finding these podcasts valuable, please don't forget to share with other people. Please, let's together spread the love. Let's help everybody understand their behaviour around food that little bit more. Today I wanted to talk about habits because over the years that I have been working with clients, I've realised that alongside our emotional eating and the pressures that we have from others to eat and the overeating for occasions like birthdays and holidays and all of the other reasons we use to overeat, we've developed many bad habits around food. And through my program, clients are exploring their behaviour around food and they start to really understand their emotional eating, but they still have these habits that are really ingrained and they find really difficult to break. Now, some of our behaviour around food has been a certain way for so many years that it really does take a lot of effort and a lot of practice to kind of break these habits and develop new ones. And unless we're really concentrating, our brain can automatically flip back and do what it knows it's always done and lead us to one of our habits, one of our eating habits. So just for example of automatic behaviour, have you ever moved house and a few days later you're driving home from work and you find yourself on the road of your old house? Because your brain has driven that route so many times, it just automatically takes you home, but it's not your home anymore. Or if you've ever gone out in the car on a shopping day and you've got in the car and you're automatically on your way and then you realise you're heading to your mum's house and you think, hang on a minute, where am I going? But it's just because you drive that route so often that it's automatic behaviour. It's just an ingrained habit that is where you are going. And with food, we've developed these same habits. So some will be what I call food associations. So certain things we do around food or certain foods that go together. Like if I have a sandwich, I have to eat it with a packet of crisps. Or Diet Coke for me goes with a packet of barbecue mini cheddars. Don't know why, it just does. And then you've got things like Sunday lunch has to be a roast dinner, or if you go to your nan's, she always has the cake tin. So we've got those sorts of habits that we have. It may be that you've developed habits like as soon as you walk in the door from work, you go straight to the fridge. You don't take your shoes off, you don't go upstairs and get changed or do other things. It is literally, that is your automatic behaviour to walk in the house and go to the fridge. Now, sometimes when we're in the weight loss phase, we manage to control a lot of these habits. We seem to really focus on the goal and we try new habits. But it's really easy to slip back because, again, our brain remembers that you have a chocolate bar when you fill up with petrol. So unless you are completely conscious when you walk in to pay for your petrol, you can walk out with a chocolate bar and think, oh, I forgot I was on a diet, or I forgot I was trying to lose weight, because it's just that automatic behaviour because you've bought that chocolate bar with that petrol so many times. I've also noticed that in weight management, it doesn't take long to form new unhelpful habits. They creep back in. A little example that I noticed a few years ago was I opened my performing arts academies and I started working on Saturdays, and I was working till 6 o'clock. And it was a time in my life where things had changed. I'd had a baby, so I wasn't going out on a Saturday night. Staying in was the new going out, if you like. And I remember coming home after this launch day at my academy, and my partner had a bottle of fizz and a large bag of crisps and dips waiting for me. And it was lovely, and we celebrated. But what quickly happened is my brain thought, yeah, that was good. Working all day Saturday, but coming home to some alcohol and some nice food, that worked for me. Yeah, I liked it. The next weekend, we did it again. And then the next weekend, and it just became this new habit. And it wasn't until probably 6-8 weeks later that I realised that every weekend I was automatically having this ritual, this habit of eating and drinking as soon as I walked in the door. Now, I'm not saying I don't like to indulge on a Saturday, and in weight management, I think that's perfectly acceptable to have a day where you ease off the reins. But sometimes I wasn't really hungry, I didn't really want it, but it was our new habit that we were doing. And even if we were going out for dinner, or if we did have plans, I still had this ritual if that's what I did before I did anything else. And I think it was probably a night where we did have plans that I realised that habit was ingrained, because I still wanted to do that before I got ready. So with that habit, I've now brought it into my consciousness. So I'm not saying that we don't do that, but I'm more aware that it is a habit, and it's more of a choice of what we're going to do on a Saturday evening, as opposed to this is what we do, this is the new habit. And when I notice my weight creeping up again, I have to think, hang on a minute, which habits need to just drop back? What do I need to realign? And that is one of the first things that will go, because I know that I can pull it back quite easily in the week. But if I keep that Saturday night habit, then that really kind of scuppers the realignment of the week, and I end up kind of, staying the same instead of dropping back a few pounds. And that can be really hard, because my sloth brain tells me it makes me feel better after a long day, and I deserve it because I've worked all day on Saturdays and it's the weekend. But then I have to remind myself that it's a knock-on effect, because although it makes me feel better for that moment, it doesn't make me feel better if I'm uncomfortable in my clothes, if the scales are going up, and if I'm not feeling happy in myself. Anyway, enough of my examples. What is a habit? A habit is a repeated pattern of behaviour that becomes automatic. And I've been reading a brilliant book by James Clear that's called Atomic Habits. And he explains it brilliantly. He says whenever you encounter a new situation in your life, your brain has to make a decision. It works out, how do I respond to this? And the first time you come across a problem and you're not sure how to solve it, the neurological activity in the brain is really high in this period, because you have to carefully analyse the situation and make conscious decisions around how to act. And then occasionally you stumble across the solution. So you're feeling anxious, and then you try different ways to calm yourself down, and you discover that going for a run calms you down. This is James Clear's example, by the way, but for me it might be that I discover chocolate calms me down. So after you stumble across this unexpected reward and it calms you down, you alter your strategy, and your brain immediately begins to catalogue the events that preceded to that reward. Your brain goes, wait a minute, that felt good. What did I do before? Yeah, that's what I do. Okay, so me coming home on the Saturday night, it's like, yeah, that felt nice to share that moment of intimacy with nice food and Prosecco. That's what I'll do, and I'll do it every week because it feels good. From then on, our brain automatically takes us to the chocolate or the wine or whatever it is, and although it may soothe instantly, it is just that. It's instant gratification. It's not a long-term solution. So my giant bag of crisps on a Saturday night is instant gratification for working all day. But actually, if it adds pounds every week, it's not actually that much of a soothe. It's not that much of a reward, if you like. So James talks about how we form new habits. And he says what we need to do is we need to write down the new habits we'd like to form. And he calls them implementation intention. And these statements increase the odds of us being successful with making these changes. Rather than saying to yourself, I'm going to drink more water, what we need to do is actually write a sentence down such as, by 12 o'clock each day, I will have drank 1 litre of water. And by 4 o'clock, I will have drank 2 litres of water. So we're actually putting into clear, precise words what we want the new habit to be. And I guess it's a little bit like goal planning, because quite often I hear people say, I'm going to lose weight. And that's as far as their goal goes. But if they say, I'm going to lose weight, I'm going to lose 2 stone. I want to lose 2 stone by March. And this is the plan I'm going to follow. This is the exercise I'm going to do. This is my strategy. Then they are far more likely to succeed it because they've set themselves a clear plan. Whereas when we just say, I'm going to lose weight or I'm going to drink more water, we don't really fully commit to that intention. So, as I say, writing a clear statement down, saying what you want your new habit to be. If it's I want to do more exercise, it may be that I'm going to exercise 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday and Friday. So that's the first thing, having a clear intention. And if we set out our intentions, then we don't need to make decisions every day. We just need to follow out the intention because that's already there. But what I really, really like about what James Clear talks about is habit stacking. So it's actually a method created by B.J. Fogg, who's the author of Tiny Habits. And what he says is we need to kind of tag our new habits onto current habits, because many of our daily actions, they are already habits, and often one action will trigger another action. So for example, we go to the toilet, we wash our hands, we make dinner, we eat dinner, we load the dishwasher. So we have this trigger of actions and a routine that we will all have that's our own kind of pattern of habits. If your new habit was going for a walk every day, it might be that you say, well, I always drop the children to school and I've got time to go for a walk there. So your new habit becomes, after I drop the kids to school, I go for a walk. Okay? Or if you know that you want to keep a food diary and you always forget to write in it, it might be something that you decide to do as soon as you get home from work instead of going to the fridge. So after I take off my work shoes, I will write in my food journal. And that becomes your new habit because you always walk in the door and take off your shoes, for example. So you're just tagging that on. Or when I take off my work clothes, I will change into my workout clothes. When I change into my workout clothes, I will go into the gym or I will go out for a walk. So you are tagging on habits to existing ones. If we can slowly stack our small habits, we will create a new daily routine eventually, and this will help us to achieve our goals and the goals we've set out. The habit stacking formula is after current habit, I will, new habit. So that's all you need to do. After I, whatever you normally do, I will, and then insert your new habit. And it's really important to be clear and specific as to when you're going to take action. So for the example he gives in his book is, rather than at lunchtime, I will go for a walk, think about that a little bit more clearly. Is that before you eat? Is that after eat? Is that as soon as I switch off my laptop, I will go for a walk and then I will eat my lunch? So I would say the first step is to start thinking about the habits that you already have and jot them down. In fact, this is quite a good exercise to do once a month, particularly when you get to weight management. It's like a habit review, because if you start to write them down, you can see which habits are really, really helpful for your long-term health and long-term weight management and which are not. And you can notice if there's some habits that have crept in, like my Saturday night thing, because quite often I see patterns keep re-emerging with myself and with my clients where we've got it under control, we're doing really, really well with our weight management, and then all of a sudden you do one thing and it feels so good that you think, I'm going to do that again. It might be something like stopping for a hot chocolate at Costa. You do it at Christmas time and that's fine. But then you realise you get to the end of January and you're having 3 hot chocolates from Costa a week. Yeah, it's just little things that creep in. So as I say, first step, write all your habits down and notice if you're being blasé about habits, because sometimes we dismiss them and we don't think we can change them because they've always been there. So we actually discount the fact that it can be changed. I've had conversations with people and they've said, yes, but we always do that, or yes, but we always eat X, Y, and Z. And I say, that's brilliant, but does that mean you always have to do it? And it's like a light bulb goes on and they say, well, actually, I guess no. I guess I don't have to do that. So just notice that sometimes you can really kind of, they're so ingrained that it's almost like you've not ever thought about having that option to change it, because an option's not on the cards until you really, really challenge yourself. So yes, write down your habits and then look at where you have space to slot into some new habits. So it's no good, saying you're going to exercise if you haven't really got time, or if that's the time that you normally help the children with their homework or something like that. It's finding that space and rearranging things so that you can slot new habits in where you have time to do it. So I've just started this for my New Year's exercise routine, so it will be interesting to see how it works out. I've written my intention to exercise 3 times a week, plus my walking and running, so that's like a workout exercise. So I'll update you, I'll let you know how I get on. That's it for today. If you wanted to look deeper into habits, I highly recommend listening or reading to Atomic Habits. And that's just 2 little action points for you today. So write down your intention. What habits do you want to develop? Make sure they are really, really clear and precise. And look at your habit stacking. Where could you slot in new behaviour, new little habits to add on to something that you're already doing? I hope that's been helpful. Please do keep messaging me via social media. I'm absolutely loving hearing your progress, hearing that you've lost weight, hearing that you've used some of the things I've shared in these podcasts. It's really, really lovely to hear that you are changing your relationship with food from listening to some of the things that I've shared. I think that's everything. Happy New Year. I hope you are all looking forward to an awesome 2021. Don't forget, if you say this year is going to be amazing, and if you believe this year is going to be amazing, then it will be. Hopefully we will be out of COVID-19 phase at some point during this year, and we can all start enjoying seeing family and friends a little bit more, and holidays, and just getting back to some sort of normality, if that's possible. So have a great week.